Alright guys, so this is going to be the last comparison video I do from this track day, but I got my hands on a McLaren 570s. It's my buddy Jason's car. It's a beautiful purple. I don't know exactly the name of the color, but oh my god, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So yeah, we're here at Button Willow, and I wanted to go ahead and compare the two because the two are supposed to be competitors in the market. They're about the same price on the used market now. Both of these are 2015s, and I decided I'd go ahead and give you guys my thoughts. So we'll start off with the McLaren. Right off the bat, you notice the torque. It's a twin turbo V8, so any turbo car, you're going to get that torque punch that you don't get from a naturally aspirated car. It was definitely noticeable, and it was really nice. It was almost scary at first because of how much power this car makes. The power figures aren't very impressive. It's just like the GT3. Like, you look at the power numbers in the GT3 and you're like thinking to yourself, oh, that doesn't seem very impressive. But the way the car delivers the power, the way the car, the power to weight ratio of the car really affects the way it feels. So amazing torque, amazing power from this car. Another thing I noticed was the transmission. The dual clutch out of the McLaren is amazing. I did not think it was going to be that good. It is right on par with the PDK. It is really fast. Another thing I noticed was how badass it was when you shifted sometimes at wide open throttle. You get a backfire out the back of the car in between your shifts. So that was pretty dope. It added to the emotion and to the experience of the car, as well as the V8 twin turbo exhaust note, which is a pretty good sound itself. Another thing I noticed was getting in the car. It was very futuristic. So much tech in that car. And yeah, something I'm not used to, obviously, with the GT3. A lot more buttons. Buttons to put the car into gear, into reverse, into neutral, into park. Switches and dials for sports modes and, track mode and touch screen and all this, expensive shit that the GT3 does not have, that McLarens are using in their cars to look very futuristic. So we're going to transition over to the GT3 now, and right off the bat, you notice the handling was better than the McLaren. The McLaren, it gave you that typical mid-engine feel, which is amazing. If you've ever driven a mid-engine car, they're a delight to drive. It's the turn-in's great. The throttle during turn and turn exit is amazing as well. Being able to basically teeter-totter the car with your gas and brake is so dope. But the GT3 just handled better, and I think it's because obviously the track setup has something to do with it. Obviously the sticky tires has something to do with it, and the suspension all plays a factor into this. I'm not driving a stock GT3, so this is very hard to give a very good comparison, but you can kind of get an idea. You can kind of get an idea of what's going on with the GT3 compared to the McLaren. So, yeah, rear steer is awesome. If you're not used to it, it gives you that sensation that you're oversteering, but it's actually the car helping you. Pretty dope feature with the GT3 that the McLaren does not have, and that definitely helps the handling overall. I still think stock for stock, the GT3 is a better handling car, but yeah, I guess we'll have to find out later on. The engine sound of the GT3 definitely beats the McLaren. The McLaren sounds great, It's like I talked about earlier, that twin turbo V8 sounds really gnarly throughout the whole power band and rev range. Damn, I'm tired. And it just really makes a good growling V8 turbo noise, Doesn't sound anything like an NA V8, but it's still a really good sound. Another thing, the GT3 is very analog. I mean, you can look right here into the cockpit. There's no buttons on the steering wheel. There's literally a PDK lever that you pull down and put in a manual mode, and you can just drive the car. Very simple, no buttons I'm pressing, nothing. Just get in and drive. It's fucking sick. I love it that way. It's just gives you that appreciation for cars that are just very driver focused right now, which, you know, everyone seems to be going away from, and it's kind of a shame, but yeah, Porsche's sticking with it, and it's a winning recipe. Honestly, it's pretty solid. If I was to choose which car I would want, I'm still choosing the GT3. I think it's just the better car, better track car overall, and yeah, maybe for a street car I'm choosing the McLaren, but for a track car, GT3 all the way. I don't see myself switching brands as much as I'd want, you know, an LT or something, and maybe I'll get my hands on something like that to drive later on, but you know, this GT3 compared to the 570S was pretty much no contest. Doesn't mean that the McLaren is bad in any way. I really enjoyed driving it. Like I talked about earlier, mid-engine cars are just a joy to drive, especially when you get in the braking zone and you're really hard on the brakes and turn in, and the car still wants to go straight. You know, just that little bit of dramatics with the chassis itself is pretty fucking dope compared to the Porsche. The Porsche is a harder car to learn because it's got the weight in the rear, but once you've learned it, there's no denying the fact that this car is extremely fucking fast around any track, and very hard to beat for any car. So I'll leave you guys with that. If you guys have any questions about the two cars, please drop it in the comment section below, and I'll get back to it as soon as possible. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.